But in here, in this chapter 18 of Acts, and in fact the last part of it you have already read, it's talking about Paul arrived in a place and he came across Priscilla and Aquila. Okay? So you can see the first group of training, the mentorship relationship is between Paul and Priscilla Aquila. Okay? That's the first section, first mentor-protege relationship. And then later on, that's the first part we read in the beginning, is Apollo. Apollo is the protege of Aquila and Priscilla. Okay? So if we draw a chart, then Paul is there. He trained many people, a lot of names there. Well, we don't care because we don't know what happened to them afterwards, right? They may have their protege from there on. But here we know, written in the Bible, that is the grandson, spiritual grandson. Okay, so hopefully this team, we all will be great leaders in a few years, and then you will train another group of people, and we will multiply. And that is the plan. Okay. All right, the third section, we're going to talk about how, well, we're late, but okay, we should be able to finish it.
We start 30 minutes late.
No.
Come on.
The activity of listening, this is something about psychology, okay? When we listen, how many, well, you can guess how many percent of the time we are listening, and how many percent of the time that we are thinking, and how many percent of the time we will respond to a question, right? Guess, make a guess. What's the percentage on listening?
10%?
10%.
30.
30%. That's pretty bad. Okay? If you listen so little, that is pretty bad. We should listen more. Okay? Listen more and think. Okay? And then we respond 5%. Then you won't speak the wrong thing. Okay? If you reverse it, you talk too much, and you make mistakes. Right? Okay. For the mentor, okay, this is very standard thing. Reading the protege sign. When the protege comes to the mentor, they may say something, I have a problem. Okay, what is your problem? So you need to read into it. It's the fact versus the feeling. Right? They have something hidden. And don't do the things like, oh, don't worry. Why? He's worrying. Why? You say, don't worry. Okay? It cannot be that bad. That means you are lying. You are not telling the truth. That's not true. All right. Everything will turn out all right. What do you mean? How? So we have to be careful and listen, not just the verbal thing. See the expression and read into the sentence behind it. Okay, so these are some of the skills we're going to talk about both for the mentor and for the protege. So once you start, suppose the protege come to you and ask a question. I cannot get along with this brother. You put me into a team, I cannot work with him. All right? Then the mentor start to think, okay, you cannot work with him. So what is the reason? Start to ask questions. So ask a few questions then gather all the information. So it is spreading out. It's what we call a kind of like brainstorm. You collect all the information. The next step is to organize the information, and you take down, okay, he's talking about something maybe affecting him because something happened at home, but it's not really that brother, okay? And so you put in, arrange all the information and filter it, narrow it down, you come to a conclusion and repeat that to the protege. Make sure that is the root cause of the problem, and help the protege to tell you the right question. Then you will look for the answer for him. Alright? You understand?
Very complicated.
Well, communication is complicated. It's true. If you have a lot of conversation, you notice in a group of discussion, people start to talk within nanoseconds, okay? Microseconds. One speech has not quite finished, the other person will jump in and continue the conversation. This is how we talk, but in fact, that is not the right thing to do. You think, listen carefully what other people are talking, and you won't get into this fighting for the time, your airing time, right? And try to put out all the stuff from your mind. Okay. Mental listening skill, pick up the subtle concern, right? And what is the actual thing? Small and gradual change that seems significant. Read a verbal and non-verbal sign. Communication is not just the audio part, the visual part. You see the facial expression. And how do those people, they are hard of hearing, they read your lips, right? Also the gesture, you crossing your hand. I don't have to talk about this. I think people have counseling training. They know if you put something like that, that means something, and if you are leaning back, sitting comfortably, that means something else, right? So try to observe these people, observe how people talk, and you know what's behind their mind, what is in there. Especially say, never seems to get along with his brother. Really? Never? Never, never? And he gets to me every time as a conversation. Really, every time. So you need to understand, he doesn't mean every time, he doesn't mean never, but that's emphasized.